Happy Monday. Good to see you here today. Oh my goodness. My house right now, where I live, is in disarray. I moved some furniture from one room to another, and so there's dust everywhere and stuff everywhere. So my view looking beyond my computer is very different than what you're seeing, fortunately, right now. So my mind kind of follows how my home is right now, a little discombobulated and dusty. So I'm very much looking forward to our time today to start the week and to start my day and your day as well. So thank you for being here and sharing in my journey as I get to share in yours. I was reading an article this week about meditation, and there's been many studies about the benefits of meditation over the years, especially the last 20 years or so. Even in the 1970s, there were some studies starting up on meditation and the benefits of it. But um, this study in particular was talking about how a regular meditation time every day, they were talking about, 10 minutes every day makes a difference to our ability to manage our emotions for the rest of the day. No surprise to us. We've been talking about that off and on throughout our time together. And I just like when things like that come out and just underscore that. So, what happens when we're meditating is we are watching what's happening on the inside and not reacting to it, or practicing not reacting to that. Let's put it that way. So, we're practicing not reacting to what's happening on the inside, and that level of emotional control, emotional management, emotional, in therapy land, we call it emotional regulation, allows us to approach difficult situations that may come up during the week. For example, if somebody is driving on the road and they're driving a little crazy, maybe pre-meditation, we would have said, oh my gosh, what a jerk driving so crazy. And maybe post meditation, we have a slightly more tame variation of that, or it's just not worth getting our emotions riled up about somebody driving the way we're driving. We just take care of ourselves and move on. Silly example, but something that we all can relate with at some point, I'm sure. But then we have relationships, and then we have, really, our emotions show up a lot in relationships, right? Because we are interacting with another person, we're dealing with our own worldview, bringing that worldview to the table. The other person is bringing their worldview to the table, and and then we're human, so we have varying degrees of being good at those interactions. And when we're meditating and focusing and practicing focusing on what's happening on the inside and not reacting to the things that are coming up, we bring that skill, we bring that strength to any situation that we're in that that allows us to have more space in our reactions in anything that we're doing. Hopefully, we have that kind of slowing down of those reactions towards ourselves too, because that's our biggest culprit, is ourselves, of criticizing and not being okay with within ourselves. Our emotions are in the middle part of our brain. This is something we talked about a long time ago. So we've got our emotions, if this is our brain, our emotions are in the limbic system, which is kind of in the center inside of the brain. And then we have our cortex on the outside. And we've got our rational part, which is our prefrontal cortex right here. And the rest of the top of the brain is our more human part of the brain, that rational mind, but as well as speech and creation, creativity and all of that allows us to do what we can do as humans that animals are not able to do. So this limbic system is connected to the spinal cord and the spinal column that goes all the way down our backs. And that back part of the brain, lower brain, controls our bodily functions. and it controls our bodily functions without us having to think about it. So there's lots of work that the brain is doing, of course, throughout the day. Then we have our limbic system that's connected to that, the rest of the nervous system that controls everything. And the limbic system contains our fight or flight mode. And our fight or flight mode reacts faster than our rational mind. So just to kind of give some more background to the study of how meditation helps us manage our emotions for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week. When we get triggered by something, that trigger has gone directly, whatever is happening on the outside has gone directly to that emotional body, the emotional part of the brain, the limbic system, and our whole system reacts. When we're not good at, when we're not strong, let me put it that way, when we're not strong at watching what's happening on the inside, we react from that trigger, and we we project that reaction onto whomever, whatever is standing before us. When we meditate, we're learning how to watch on the inside and learn about those weird thoughts that come up, learn about those emotional reactions. A lot of times, not just sometimes, but a lot of times, those emotional reactions need more processing. So journaling, that's a whole other video, right? Journaling or forgiving, releasing, making peace with something, letting go of our expectations and making them more reasonable for a situation, on and on and on. But we find out that work that we need to do by knowing what's going on the inside. And sometimes we have that work to do even when we do know what's going on inside, and there's something else we need to work with to let it go further. But when we haven't been working on knowing what's going on the inside, those reactions come out, and they are sometimes how we live our lives, sometimes how a lot of people live their lives, because they haven't developed that part of the connection between that rational part of the brain, that observer self, and those emotions that are coming up. And we see that all the time in our world. And, hopefully if we're self-aware enough, we can see when we're doing it, because that's the only thing we can manage, right? Is when we're doing that and how that shows up within us. And that's always our responsibility. That's always our work. It's like we have teeth. We are responsible for taking care of those teeth every day. We have an emotional body. We are responsible for taking care of that emotional body every day. I call it emotional hygiene or mental health hygiene or spiritual hygiene, however you want to look at it. It's our daily responsibility to, have a fairly clean and flowing inside, so that we can show up in that way on the outside too. And when we don't, we have something to clean up. We have something that we need to look at. So anyway, that was a lot of talking for today, but another article that underscores what we're doing today. So we are just going to practice with that, watching what's happening on the inside, watching our emotions, watching our just those thoughts come up, body sensations. That's what mindfulness is. It's looking at what's coming up physically, emotionally, mentally, just letting it come up and out without being attached to it, without judging it, just letting it come up and out, and maintaining our center, maintaining our awareness of that we are not what's happening in the body. We are not what's happening in the emotional responses. We are not what's happening in the mental thought processes that are going on. We're not those. They come up and they come out. That's what the brain does. It just goes, here's something bizarre. Let's shoot this out during your day. And we just let it go. So meditate. I invite you to get comfortable in your chairs if you're not already. A couple of deep breaths to begin our time just being. Let's focus on our breath for a few moments. A calm, natural breath. Coming in and out, using the diaphragm to pull that breath into the belly and releasing it. As the belly contracts toward the spine. If it helps to count, use the quick breath count of breathing into the count of 4 and breathing out to the count of 4. I invite you to notice in your body, just do a body scan head to toe. See where your center, where you feel that calm groundedness most in your body right now. When you find it, just let your attention rest there. Sometimes I like to picture myself just plopping down on that place in my mind and just visualizing that wherever in my body I feel the most calm, seeing myself just sitting in a way that I can just let go of my body and not think about it unless it tells me something during my meditation time. And then I just notice it without judgment, without conversation, just with awareness, with that noticing. Oh, I'm noticing that. And that's all. And we just sit in our own presence, our own stillness, and watch whatever the mind brings up, just noticing it and letting it keep going. All those thoughts, emotions can pass by like clouds in the sky. Sometimes they pass more quickly than other times. And if you find yourself getting into a conversation with those thoughts, trying to play it out or think it through, just notice that. Just open, let it flow out. Bring your attention back to your breathing, to your center. If it helps to give your mind something to do, use the quick breath counting, breathing in to the count of 4, breathing out to the count of 4. Bring your attention back to that. Sometimes using a word or short phrase can help. pure air in, everything else out. Breathing that breath in through the front of you, that pure air in, everything else out, breathing everything else out the back. There's no need to react to whatever comes up. There's a physical sensation, just noticing it with compassion. Or if a situation in your life comes up, the mind just wants to jump on that and figure it out or have its feelings about it, and all that is fine. But this is our time to put all that aside, let it go for now, just for now. We'll be there when we're done. We're just right now present in that calm, grounded place within us. And you might be able to feel every cell of your body responding to this calmness. The benefit of meditation doesn't always look like a quiet mind. It looks like a steady awareness. And the practice of bringing our awareness back to whatever we have found to be our center over and over and over again. That's our practice, bringing our awareness back to just being. We use our breath to help us with that. We use a word or phrase. We use that place in our body. Whatever helps us. Whatever helps us gently pull our attention away from thoughts, emotions, reactions happening during our meditation time. We are tuning into ourselves. And really just being present, no matter the chatter. Just like if we were listening to a friend talk about something and really we're trying to hear, what are they really saying? What are they really saying under those words? So we're asking ourselves, how can I really support myself right now? And there's nothing more beautiful that we can do for another human being, including ourselves, than be non-reactive and simply present with them. Even if that means we have nothing to say, but we're just there without judgment. That's immense. We get really good at that with other people by doing it for ourselves every day. If you can continue with this meditation practice in the space that you're in, I most definitely invite you to do that. If you need to go about your day, I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths. Feel your whole body in your chair as you bring that new strength and that observer self with you to your day, to your week ahead. Thank you for being here today with me and every week. And have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye for now.